Hello students, welcome back to the science class. So we were learning unit 6 life cycle and lesson number 1 reproduction we have learned in the previous video. What is reproduction? Reproduction is a process through which a living organism produces its own copy. And what is life cycle? Life cycle is the series of stages through which a living being passes from birth to death. To continue the life cycle, a living organism have to reproduce. So today we are going to learn about not enough copies and planned reproduction. So in this picture, there are some baby ducks with their mother. We have learned that reproduction sustains the species. It saves the species from being extinct. So here the ducks, they reproduce through eggs. They have hatched from eggs laid by the mother, these ducklings. How many ducklings would have to grow up to carry on the species? In the previous video, we have seen that a dog is giving birth to 3 dogs. Then again these 3 puppies are carrying the species. So is it really needed that all these puppies have to carry the species? No. So here, the mother duck is laying more eggs than what is needed to carry on to save the species. But some animals, they are not producing more. They are not producing more copies. Some species do, but some species do not. And it's not necessary that all the eggs the ducks lays should hatch. Some species, they are not producing more copies, like elephants. Elephant is a mammal. It gives birth to its young ones. It won't give birth to more copies. So, the copy which they are producing should survive. Otherwise, what happens? These species will soon become extinct. What about this one? This is an orangutan. This orangutan is living in dense forest. What happens to this species? Humans are destroying the wildlife. So what happens to them? They are not getting the enough effective environment for reproduction. And their species are dying day by day because the forests are being taken by humans. And now I am considered as an endangered species. What do you mean by endangered species? The plants or animals which are in danger of dying out complete are called endangered species. That means sooner these species will become extinct. They are in danger of dying. There is a chance for these species to become extinct. That kind of species are called endangered species. There are many species like that. Here is a picture of a parrot. Humans catches these parrots for money and pleasure and puts them in a cage and in zoo. They are not getting enough environment to lay eggs, and this makes them as an endangered species. Parrots are now considered as an endangered species. Not only animals, while some beautiful plants have become rare because they have been collected from the wild and sold to gardeners. Humans collect these flowers from the wild and they will sell these flowers for money. These are some more endangered species: tiger, panda, rhinoceros, sea turtles. Why these species are considered as endangered species? What are the reasons behind this? Have you ever thought of this? The biggest cause is population. Why? When there is more and more people, there is more and more needs. Then more people need more food, more houses, buildings, farmlands, everything they need. They have to satisfy all the needs, and there is not enough space for all these population. So what they will do? They will clear the forest. They will clear the forest to build homes, buildings, and for the furnitures. So these forests, which are the habitat for certain species, will become extinct. Now, can you tell me one more reason behind this endangered species? Draining marshes. The marshy areas have been drained for certain purposes by the humans. These areas are drained for building roads, houses, factories, and farmlands, and it will really affect the habitat and ecosystem. Those species which are living in these marshy areas will be affected. So it will be a cause to the endangered species. Now, next reason is pollution. We have learned many kinds of pollution: air pollution, water pollution, seawater pollution, ocean pollution. So how these are affecting the environment? How these are affecting the species? How they are become extinct? Some species of birds and sea animals will be really affected by these pollutions. Their reproduction will be affected. The environment which have been sustained for the reproduction will be affected badly. So these species will be considered as endangered species. The reason behind this, one of the reasons behind this is pollution. And hunting. Some animals are endangered because they have been hunted for sport or profit. These humans, they will hunt some plants because they are very rare inside the wild. So they will collect this for profit or just for sport. So these kind of species will be considered as endangered. Does this extinction really matter? Not only are plants and animals often beautiful to look at, they are often connected together in complicated food webs and food chains. For example, each kind of plant provides food and shelter for many different animals. All plants and animals depend on each other, either for food or for shelter. So the loss of one species can mean that others may become extinct. Even for us, we humans, our important foods, materials and medicines come from plants. So loss in one species really affect the other species also. So we have to conserve the nature for all these species. Now we are going to learn the next lesson, lesson number 3, plant reproduction. In this lesson, we are going to learn the parts of flower, how plants reproduce, and arrangement of flowers. Now we will learn how plants reproduce. We know that most plants reproduce through seeds. And these seeds are produced in the flower. Seeds are made by a method of reproduction called sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, a male part and a female part is needed. Most flowers have male and female parts inside it. Only some species such as sweet chestnut, hazel and birch tree are having different male and female parts. So a flower is having male and female parts inside it, and inside the flower seeds are produced. So before learning that, we have to learn the parts of flowers. There are 4 parts to most flowers. These are sepals, the petals, stamens and the carpels. They all are arranged in rings, one inside the other. So the first part is sepals. Sepals form the outermost ring of a flower. They cover and protect the flower when it is in the bud stage of growth. When the flower opens, they usually bend back towards the stem. Then comes the petals. Petals are very soft and brightly colored, and they may be scented. And there is a tiny cup which produces a sugary liquid called nectar, which attracts the insects. Then comes the male reproductive part, that is called stamen. Stamen consists of 2 parts, anther and filament. Inside the anther, there is pollen, a yellow dust called pollen, and each grain of pollen has a male cell. So the male reproductive part of a plant is stamen. Now we will learn the female reproductive part. The female reproductive part is called carpel. It consists of 3 parts. The first part is stigma, style and ovary. Stigma is a sticky part. Its structure is a sticky structure, and style is a long tube-like structure that supports the stigma. And after that, a swollen part called ovary. Inside the ovary, there are ovules or egg cells, the female cells of a flower. Understood? So there are mainly 4 parts in a flower. The supporting parts are pedicel and receptacle. These are the supporting parts. There comes the main 4 parts. They are sepals that supports the flower, then petals, then comes the male reproductive organ, stamen, then comes carpel or pistil, the female reproductive organ. The stamen consists of 2 parts, anther and filament, and inside anther there are pollens, and pollen grain have male cells inside it. These are the main male reproductive part, cell. Carpel or pistil is the female reproductive organ. It consists of 3 parts, stigma, style and ovary. Inside ovary there is ovules or egg cells. These are the female reproductive cells. Understood the parts of a flower? So one more time, we will see the male and female reproductive parts of flowering plants. The male reproductive plant part is stamen and female reproductive part is carpels. So first, male reproductive part. This is the male reproductive part of a flower. It is called stamen. It consists of 2 parts, anther and filament. And inside anther, there are pollen grains. Pollen grains. These pollen grains consist of male cells. So the male reproductive cell are inside the pollen grains, that is in the part stamen. Female reproductive part, that is carpel or pistil. Carpel is the female reproductive part of a flower. It consists of 3 parts. They are stigma and style, which supports the stigma, and there is a swollen part at the bottom of the carpel called ovary. This is the base part of female reproductive, and this ovary is having ovules or egg cells. These are the female reproductive cells. Hope you have understood the important parts of flower. They are sepal, petal, stamen and pistil or carpel. The female and male reproductive parts of flowers are pistil, carpels and stamen, the male reproductive part. Now we will see arrangement of flowers. Many plants have arranged the flowers in different way. A rose is arranged in a different way than some lilies. Many plants such as tulips and poppies have just one flower at the end of a stalk. But in some other plants, they have flowers arranged in groups. For example, a foxglove. In this picture, it's a foxglove. These have flowers arranged in what is called a spike, with the oldest flower at the bottom. A number of plants are arranged in an umbrella shape also. Let's see one picture. These plants have arranged these flowers in umbrella shape. You will be familiar with these kind of flowers. Some flowers such as daisies, sunflowers, dandelions, thistles, these flowers are arranged in exactly different way, in a strange way. They look like a single large flower, but they are combined with really large number of tiny flowers called florets. That is, these flowers which looks like a single large flower is actually made up of a group of tiny flowers called florets. And these florets, these single florets, which are arranged together to form a group of flowers which looks like a single flower. And each of these flowers will produce seeds. Understood? What all things we learned today? We learned endangered species. The plants or animals which are in danger of dying out are called endangered species. Then we learned parts of flower. There are 4 main parts. There are sepals, petals, stamens and carpels. Then we learned plant reproduction through seeds. Then we learn arrangement of flowers. Different plants are arranging their flowers in different manner. That's all for today. Thank you so much for listening.